Hello, hello, friends. Welcome to a nice well-being check-in. I thought I could come and hang out with you all and lead a simple meditation and just a little chat on how you're doing, what's going on, how you're taking care of yourself, all the things. So, hello, hello, friends. Let me briefly check to make sure we are good to go. Haven't been live on YouTube in like 10 years. All right. I think we're okay. Let's see. All right. One moment, please. All right. All right. We are good to go. All right. So, hello, hello, friends. The real reason I'm here is because I'm all dressed in civilian clothing instead of yoga clothing. I have a meeting coming up with my good friends, Daniel Hatcher and Kelly Clore. Daniel works with the Alliance for Healthier Generation, is a real champion of education and is involved in so many incredible groups. And Kelly Clore is also a new friend. She is an archivist and a member of Cherokee Nation and leads lovely land acknowledgements. And I've got to be a part of a couple of these so far. Well, actually, just one. We're working on our second one. It feels like we've been practicing. So, anyway, I'm in Illinois. This is our Illinois Zoom room / yoga studio for the Strala Yoga app. And I got my time zones mixed up. I wanted to make sure I was here on time for the meeting. So I'm an hour early because East Coast time, Midwest time. Here we are. So I figured I'm working on some edits for my next book project. And I thought, hey, I haven't checked in with friends and folks on YouTube in like 10 years because we've been so busy and cultivating Strala Yoga app and Strala Yoga community. And YouTube's always been my, well, not always, but since 2006, been a place where I just share practices that can hopefully help you feel better and do yoga in a way that helps you in your life. So I was just thinking about that briefly of when I started making YouTube videos. I was thinking about my friends back home here in Illinois, and I was in New York, doing all the crazy New York stuff, getting things going in my life. And I'm thinking, oh, it's not really fair that all my friends aren't here. And I'm learning about yoga, learning how yoga helps you feel better. I'm learning how yoga helps with so many things that it just felt so ridiculous that it wasn't everywhere. And it wasn't not just everywhere, but accessible, and not just accessible by being everywhere, but accessible in how you practice and in what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to feel. So, hello, friends. Yes, feel free to leave comments and all these things. So, I started learning yoga from a lot of different teachers and styles. And what I learned was, oh my gosh, okay, I understand why yoga is not spread everywhere at that moment in time because it's taught in a way that feels almost intimidating and scary, and you have to do it in a certain way. And if you can't touch your toes, you're out, you're kind of kicked out in a way, or you're brought over a chair or some blocks. And I thought, oh man, there's so many things I can share with this. I can take all my background with dance and movement and everything I'm learning with yoga and kind of rethink it. And like, do we have to talk down to people? No. Do we have to have a guru that says, you must do it this way in this voice of God? No. Yoga can be shared in this sustainable way for yourself, where you learn it like a language, like you're learning an alphabet. And then just like you learn to read, you can also write, then you can create poetry and share this poetry with others. And there's the joy, there's the beauty. So kind of started that really without a plan, as a lot of people do. A lot of good things do. There's Lantern in the background. She came with us. And it grew really quickly. People also said, yeah, I want to feel better too. I want to do yoga in a way that feels like me too. not just do yoga and have yoga. There was plenty of yoga studios and teachers, but there was also people that felt sort of uninvited to the party. So we created our own party. And after a while, I thought, well, this is really cool. I'd love to have parties everywhere. I'm a party girl in a very PG kind of healthy way. So folks that were teaching yoga said, okay, I love how you play music that helps people feel better. I love how you teach frame by frame movement instead of, making the yoga pose and a certain expression of it the goal. I'm like, well, yeah, all these things really made sense to me for whatever reason my whole life. And when I saw the framework of yoga, I really saw the potential of there's you inside of that yoga that's much more important than if you can put your foot behind your head. And realistically, putting your foot behind your head continually leads to unraveling of your hip joints, leads to having hip aches, leads to having hip replacements. And a lot of the yoga teachers that have been doing extreme poses for a long time have these major surgeries, these major injuries. And I also saw a lot of yoga teachers kind of running around with their injuries as a badge of honor. I'm thinking, well, my friends that don't do yoga do other things, and they don't want to make yoga their goal. They want to make their life their goal. They don't want to injure their wrist. They don't want to be pressing into handstands and doing these sort of almost gymnastic like movements. Because what happens if the pose becomes the goal, after you check the pose off your list, well, you need another goal. So you make it more extreme and more extreme and more extreme. And then what happens when we have extremism? Things break, systems break, our bodies break. It's a big example for really anything else that you can imagine. So I had a really wonderful yoga teacher from the very beginning, this nice individual. My ballet teacher brought him into our program, and my ballet teacher got into New York in the 70s when he was dancing with American Ballet Theater. His name's Rory Foster. So I got really lucky, synchronicity, and he brought this local yoga teacher to Chicago, where my ballet school, ballet and contemporary dance school was, for relaxation and rest and stress reduction, which are amazing ways and reasons to practice yoga, and ways to practice yoga, not just do this stressful yoga so you can get de-stressed. He brought it in a way that was already in the practice rejuvenating and restful and easeful. And hello, everyone. And I remember walking into that room and seeing this guy sitting at the front of the room. He really looked like Jack Tripper from Three's Company. He was just sitting there looking like the 80s, and this was the late 90s. So I thought this was already kind of interesting. And he was radiating this happiness. And this happiness was coming from the inside out. It wasn't coming from anything that I could see that he was getting from the outside in. He wasn't getting attention from us dancers. The dancers were kind of giggling, thinking this was a funny class. Yoga's easy if you're a professional dancer. The poses aren't challenging. You can already do the splits. You can already hold a strength building position. So this wasn't a challenge. But going to this inner world, it's definitely a challenge for teenagers, right? So I had one kind of glance at him, and I thought, this is what I want for my life. I didn't think anything about teaching this, sharing this, even learning more about it. I thought, I want that feeling of happiness coming from the inside. And I remember that from my moments, my sort of spiritually connected moments from my childhood, when I would sit in the woods and breathe and connect and all of these things. And when I would do things to stand up for people in my school when I saw injustice, all of these moments where I felt like I was coming to life from my spirit, I saw in this person. And I want that. I want to reconnect with that and have that more of the time, or really all of the time. So I was hooked really before the class even started. This is why I like to lead yoga in a way where the class begins before we do the poses, because come on, it's so much more about that. It's about the whole environment, what you're creating. And by him simply being himself and a very good example, I saw the benefits of how one individual can affect a whole space, and maybe even beyond that, who knows? But he definitely affected me before the class even began. So I thought that was really cool. And then we did this very simple practice, and I felt like I was in my own spaceship traveling into the inside worlds. And I thought, this is amazing. I want this for my life. So I kept exploring this, and I was dancing and doing some TV commercials, things like this, lots of things. And along the way, I would be on a photo shoot or a dance video shoot or something like that. And I would talk to everybody, hey, do you do yoga? And most of them would say, nah, like can't touch my toes, or I'm stressed, or this is going on, or that's going on. And I would share little practices that I resonated with them. So I was kind of teaching these one-on-one classes very informally here and there. And it was working immediately. Everybody would say, oh, I feel better. And I didn't know that yoga could feel like me. So that's kind of my origin story of yoga. And I feel that way to this day. So that feeling that I had in my childhood, and then in the class and my dance school and sharing with people randomly in New York, carries me through everything I do today. So it looks very different now. I didn't expect yoga to become a job or a movement style or this global community that I get to be a part of with you and with Strala Yoga. But I feel really lucky and really fortunate and really grateful to be able to do this with really most of my time. So that's really cool. So thank you so much for allowing me to do this with most of my time. So started sharing, something beeped at me, started sharing, maybe it was somebody commenting, I'm not sure, started sharing videos here on YouTube back in the early days of YouTube. I'm like, oh, that's easy. I can make some videos there. And then what? Then started a little studio in Mike's apartment, met him at the right time. And he was doing yoga too, and all kinds of Tai Chi and things like that. And he really liked, well, I'm talking for him now, but he really liked the idea that I was trying to help people just do the yoga and feel better. And this, I know it sounds silly maybe for a lot of people listening now, but it really wasn't silly back then. Yoga was really, it still is kind of gate kept in a way. We kind of boil it down now to different things. Maybe it's feeling more, whether we go through phases of body types and who's allowed to do this and who's allowed to do this and how does it feel fair, unfair. We're always kind of shaking out the fairness. But I loved this idea that if you do yoga in a way that feels like you're not creating problems. You're not needing to go back and say, okay, how can we fix this? Or how can we make this more inclusive? You're practicing in an inclusive way that helps you feel good about yourself and then allows you also to have the energy and confidence to open yourself up to others and say, oh, you're okay too. Or I see that you're a little bit unbalanced or a little bit off, but I'm going to be kind to you anyway. And you don't have to practice this kindness. You don't have to force yourself to practice this kindness to be good to the plants, the animals, and the people. It just starts to happen. And for me, this is the magic of yoga. When you practice in a way that feels comfortable to you, all of the things of yoga work. You start to get happier without external need for stimulation, happiness stimulation. You become peaceful from the inside. You start to make better decisions. You have more access to your mind, your brain, your creativity, your energy, your health, yourself, all of these things. And you're not dependent on all of these things working. When something is compromised, you tap into your other systems and everything. You use what you have, you use everything that you have and are grateful for everything that you have. And I know that it works. And I'm here to share that it's really important if you're practicing yoga to come back to checking in with yourself. Say, does this feel right for me? Does this feel comfortable for me? You can expand your comfort zone and grow and change without punishing yourself. Am I punishing myself or am I moving toward a better way? And, that's built into all of the classes that I lead with Strala and all of the Strala guides doing the best that they can as well. We have an awesome community out there. But if you're doing any yoga class or any fitness class or anything, that's a great check-in. Is what I'm doing feeling helpful to me, feeling beneficial or feeling good, Not in this, am I feeling good by just laying on the couch, eating donuts? That's fine too. But am I feeling good? Am I not harming myself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually while I'm doing something? And that's something you can always check in with yourself. And it gets harder if it's not baked into the experience, but you can definitely cultivate that. I really craved that, not just for myself, but for others and that I would see around in my life that were getting taken advantage of in different ways. And I would say, wait a minute, that's not cool. Let's bring it back. Let's correct the little wrong the best we can and move forward in a better way. So just a little sharing today. Maybe that's helpful for this time of year with the holidays and racing to the finish of the year, any busyness, any outside stresses that you might feel happening. Doing your practice in a way that feels like you. Oh my goodness, my friend just knitted a hat. Very good. Texting me. Oh, so I'm giving hats away to Strala members. So knitted these 3 hats the last couple of days. This one's for a little girl who came to my class in person and she asked for a hat. So how can I say no to that? Anyway, oh my gosh, Sky, thank you so much. I started doing your routines in the 8th grade and now I'm about to graduate from university. Wow. The way your yoga videos help me navigate through life more softly and mindfully has been a gift. I'm so glad you feel good, Sky, and you've got it. That's amazing. I love that I've been there with you in your growing up years too, and you're still growing up. We're all still growing up. And now you have this for your life. You have this living softly way, which is so cool. By the way, next book of mine will address all these things in a very cool way. And I'm excited to share this with you. And have these conversations. I really want to just be in person more and be online more and just connect more in good ways, not just more, but in ways that are really connected. So I'm really happy for you, Sky. Thank you so much. Serenity and peace. Yes, Caroline, it seems possible after you had breast surgery and lost your prior flexibility. Your yoga has always been kind. Yes, and we all have it from the inside out. That's the coolest thing about a practice. It's just there and it should be easy and possible. The practice shouldn't be hard, right? We try to make it hard because we don't know where to put the hard thing on. So I always found that interesting. Why are we making something that is healing, that is nice, harder than it needs to be? Why are we stressing during the thing? We can do the thing that's hard. We don't have to make it hard here. We don't have to make it harder physically as well. I'm always been fascinated by that. Use what you need, rest what you don't, so you can feel better, but also be able to do and accomplish more. It always seems so obvious, but we don't have a lot of examples of that in life. It's always stress, do. What's the problem? Right? There's lots of problems with that. All right. So I thought if it's all right with you all, it could be just a simple meditation, really brief. And maybe we can do more of these from time to time. So, also I should mention, if you aren't already practicing on the Strala Yoga app and you would like to be, go ahead and check it out on stralahome.com. If you need any help at all to join, hit us up with a message, info@stralayoga.com. We will help you. We will support you. That's the whole thing. I really like having our digital home be not on the wide open internet for so many reasons. It's nice to have this room that's inclusive, but also safe. So that's the reason that we've been putting a lot of energy into that the last several years. And it's been wonderful creating our global home everywhere. When we had the yoga studio in New York for so many years, I thought, well, this is great. But what about all the people that want to be here that can't come to New York City and, be here? It's a big deal to go to New York City and do a yoga class or live in New York City. It's a very special thing. So we have it for everyone now, which is really cool. So yeah, come join. If you're not on the newsletter list, just create an account. It'll already set you up on that, or sign up on stralayoga.com or terrastyles.com. You have all the little linked places, all those things. That's just boring myself saying all of this stuff. But we would love to practice with you if you would love to practice with us. And it feels better when it's not on the wide open internet of YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all of these places that are great to learn and share and connect, of course. But when it comes to our practice, there's something really special about being connected. So we have lots of lives there and thousands of practices that we have from, created over the years. And we have several new classes every single week. So basically every day almost, and Tai Chi with Mike as well. So, but if money's a problem, reach out to us. We will help and support you. It's pretty low cost every month. We run specials on all of the annuals as well. So anyway, come, practice, and we will enjoy. All right, that's enough for that. And let's do a nice meditation, if that's cool with you. So first thing, find a nice, comfortable place here. So it doesn't matter what it looks like. You don't have to look like a yoga picture of anybody. This is you. You look like you. And when you're you, that's amazing. I always think it's so wonderful when you see someone, maybe you see yourself, when you feel really good, you're radiating that, oh yes, that's the right place. So allow yourself to feel good by giving yourself a chance. So finding a comfortable place. So a little shift and drift side to side, easy, forward and back. And with that gentle movement, you'll find your center. Give yourself time. Just like a buoy in the water that's being gently pushed and pulled by the breeze, by the waves. When the breeze and the waves calm down, that buoy finds center every time. And then you'll also notice that with that breeze, with that waves, those waves, that center is also when you're off a little bit one way, a little bit the other way. You're reacting to that breeze instead of fighting, moving with and guiding yourself to your center. Let everything soften a bit here, a little bend in your bendable places in your body, and include your whole self, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You soften. Notice what happens with your breath here. Your breath starts to move you every inhale, expanding you out, creating more room and space. And every exhale, release, relax, making it even easier and nicer to be you and be here right now. Your breath literally moves you, lifts you, supports you, does the work for you. Imagine if you're visiting somebody and you're sitting down at a table and your friend says, oh, would you like a piece of pie? And you say, oh, sure, that sounds nice. And they go and they get it for you and they bring it over, and that's wonderful. That's your breath supporting you. But you double doing, you kind of fighting your breath as your friend is saying, hey, would you like a piece of pie? And you say, yeah, sure. And then you get up to the kitchen and they get the knife, and then you put your hand on top of the knife, and then they scoop it under, and then you scoop it under, and you're trying to help them, but really they've got it. You're kind of getting in the way, or you're trying to be nice, but you're not necessary right there. And that's okay. You can back up and breathe and let your breath support you. And notice how you feel. Notice anything you're aware of here, anything happening inside, internal feelings, anything mentally, physically, spiritually, anything at all. Simply notice. Take a big inhale. Long exhale. Nice. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. All right. Hope you feel something good, something useful Thanks for putting up with me. I think there were some ads that popped up, so sorry about that. I don't know how that happened. I'll have to go in and change that for next time. We don't need ads while we're meditating. See, open internet, chaos. So come join us on the Strala Yoga app. There's no ads. It's so silly. Anyway, hope you're feeling all right, taking good care, and let us know any way that I can help, Mike can help, folks in the Strala Yoga community can help and support you. Have a wonderful day. Maybe I'll do a few of these over the holiday time. Take good care, and I'll get back to my edits so I can deliver to you all of these things in a beautiful book form. We'll keep it going. So big hugs. Thanks so much, and see you soon.